Buttermilk Biscuits. I enjoy it.
All right, we'll be making some biscuits. So, hopefully this won't be a messed up video. I'll be able to get it all the way through, because I'm not good at all that editing to make content. So what I did is I pre-cut my butter. It's 2-1-1. That's 2 cups of self-rising flour and 1 stick of butter and 1 cup of buttermilk. Now, everybody does a little things differently. So I researched and researched and researched and researched and researched, and I came to my measurements are 2, 1, and about a quarter, maybe a little less, because the more fat, the better the biscuit. So you want all fat buttermilk. You don't want low fat. You don't want half, 2%. You want full fat buttermilk. And then you want a full butter, unsweetened. You can use, I tried this salted, rather unsalted. So I tried that one, and the difference with it is it does seem like it burns off faster. So it's less fatty in some degree. Now, once you get all that in there, oh, another secret is cold. Everything needs to stay as cold as possible for the process, because that's what helps it rise. The butter, the fat, the cold melting, and the flour, it rises up. So, in goes your butter. And I think what's gonna happen with this video, now that I'm really thinking about it, it just might get cut, because maybe not. I'm not gonna bake them all. I'm gonna do this batch. What I'm gonna try to do is put some in the freezer. So I'm gonna make the dough up and make a couple of biscuits in the oven. I invested in what they call a pastry blender. You can get these on Amazon. I'm not a promoter, so I'm not telling you, but they have several kinds. But I noticed that this one has a bolt on the end, and it's the best because you can tighten it up, and it does twist a little sometimes. Then you get your pastry blender, and you go in and you just mix your butter down. And I'm gonna probably pause the video at a moment, because what happens is I then put this back in the freezer and let it get cold again, because I didn't really touch the butter. I try my best not to touch it, but you know, butter melts. So you want to keep everything as cold as possible. That's the key. So cold and fat. And that's what's going to give you a good buttermilk biscuits. So what this thing does is it presses the flour through and gives you nice flaky butter. So I'm going to stop the video here, and I'll pick it up for part 2 when I'm ready to pour the buttermilk in. All right. So the second part is pouring and blending. It's going to kind of be off camera. I'm going to try to do the best I can, because I got my flour down already. You want to also flour up your hands, and I don't have a cookie cutter or whatever, biscuit cutter. And I'm going to explain all that as I do it, but this actually is perfect for me. So you pour and you blend in slowly. because you don't want to lump and overwork your dough. I just took this out of the freezer, the milk as well, because what I want is everything to be as cold as possible, because once my hands start touching it, I'm already room temperature, so it's going to start melting it and bringing it down. Okay, dump that all in there. And then, as I said, it calls for 1 and 1, so I always do just a tiny bit over, because the more fat, the better. Another thing I wanted to kind of go through, what I learned through this process. Why do you have to use all-purpose flour? Well, you could use regular flour, but then you have to add in the other 2 ingredients. So this is why they call it a 3-ingredient biscuit, because all-purpose flour has baking soda or baking powder, one of the 2, I don't know, don't get me wrong, already mixed into it. So it's the steps is already done for you. You use it for cakes and pastries and stuff like that, all-purpose flour. Whereas all-purpose flour, whereas self-rising flour, which is what I'm using, which is what you want to select, is used for pastry, biscuits, and stuff of that nature. So you want to get your dough to a consistency close to that. Then you want to get your hands ready. Now, since everything needs to be cold, I went a step further, because I'm just a little extra sometimes, but that's just how I am. I invested in everything stainless steel. I had a glass bottle I was using at first, just a regular bottle, liquor bottle, and I decided to go ahead and buy this, because I feared one day the bottle would break. Everything I got is on Amazon. If you can find these in a dollar store, you can find them in a dollar store. But the dollar store by me, they didn't have the stainless steel. They had wooden ones, and I was going to get that at first. And then I saw the stainless steel, and it was cheaper, actually. So I said, well, hell, let me go with the stainless steel. So I keep it in the freezer, so whenever I'm ready for biscuits, everything will remain cold. Now, at this stage, you're going to take your dough out, and then you want to try, I'm trying to gather all the flour that's in the bottom of the, what do you call this, bowl as well, and put it all in, because, see, it didn't all mix in. Some of it's still like loose flour. So the goal is to try to get it to mix in, because that's butter mixed in there as well. So this is where your layering comes into play. Now, this is where I learned another trick. With the layering on how you get it. The best thing to do is to this is my dish that I'm going to be putting them in. I'm not filling this up though. This glass, that's what I said, I'll explain it later. This glass actually is perfect for 3 biscuits and however many up. I think it's 6 up. So it fills this tray perfectly. So lay this tray down, and the goal is to roll your dough out to the size of this, so you know that's exactly the amount of biscuits that you're going to be coming up with in the end. So this is where the kneading of the dough comes into play, right here. And I'm trying to keep it, if you see, into a oblong shape, because then I'm going to start rolling it out in a minute, and then I'm also going to roll it over. I call it trifold, folding it over on itself as well. Now, that's where you're now going to get ready to roll it out. I'm gonna roll it over on itself again, trifold, and then I'm gonna also turn it. So I'm trying to get layers. And then I'm also now trying to keep it as thin as I can so I can roll it out. So you don't want to overwork your dough. You don't want to do too much layering and rolling out of it either. But you want to get it nicely done. And if you could see it, I don't know if it's picking up on the camera, you can see little chunks of butter down in there. That's the goodness. That's what's going to melt and make it rise. So again, another trifold situation, another flip. And this probably will be my last one. And I'm gonna roll it out as good as I can. And see this stuff sticking on there, that's good. That's actually some butter too, I see it. So that's why I went with the stainless steel, because I knew on the wooden one, it'll really stick to it and into the grain of the wood. So I figured stainless steel would be better, because no more need to be said. All right, that's it. Now you're gonna get your cutter. And I'm gonna start cutting. Now I learned, do not twist, just go straight down. But I don't have a cutter, I'm using a glass. So same thing pretty much, just go straight down. And that's the perfect size biscuit to go into my thing. I also have another glass, same glass, but it's I guess they call it a drinking glass, the regular little small one, and it makes them a little bit bigger. So if you want to make like a biscuit sandwich, it's perfect for that. So for me, this is perfect because it fills it exact, and then they rise up. And you want to keep them next to each other, because don't you want to be next to somebody if you want some heat? If you go to hell, you don't want to be alone. You want to be with somebody. You want to rise with somebody. So you need something next to you to help you rise up. So that biscuit next to it, love thy neighbor, as they say. I'm gonna probably go ahead and bake all these off, because I'm gonna make some more of these. I've been doing this for a minute, trying to get the recipe down packed, or method, however you want to call it. And this right here is money for me. So once I get these out here, I'll pop in the oven. I guess I'll come back and show you the finished results too. That would make sense. And of course, you take your scrappy pieces, do the same exact thing. Nothing is scrap but your little ends. I'm gonna roll them out again. It's gonna be nice. It's actually probably gonna fill it up perfectly. So I'm actually taking some of these to my mom. Now, I can probably get one more out of this. Another trick I learned, I'm not gonna do that because it's gonna be a huge biscuit. When you get down to that last little piece and you don't know what to do with it, how to make it into a little ball. I'm gonna get probably 2 more out of here. butter, baby. Sit on my set. Oh, that's right. I don't want my video to get tagged because I'm singing somebody's song while I'm cooking. Well, now that's gonna be a nice thick one right there. All right, now this is the little last piece right here. They say roll it up like that, and then start making an underneath ball like of it. So you want to have the bottom part of it. Ooh, I'm so sorry. Morning coffee. I'm a human being. There you go. Pop it in there. And as I said, for me, this is the exact size to fill this thing up. I've tried different things and I'm sticking with this. So that's my biscuits. I'll be back, I guess, for the final.